Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to Flosstube. My name is Jessi. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her, and this is Mislead Pages, my channel where I talk about all of my crafty stuff, including cross-stitching and knitting, but also more recently Bargello and occasionally diamond paintings and other crafts. It's where I talk about all the crafty things. It's also where I talk about shop updates for my crafty business, also called Mislead Pages, and where I occasionally talk about things that have to do with what's going on in the world, opinions, thoughts, feelings, all the things. So I talk about crafts, but I talk about real people things too. So if you're only here for the crafts, that's fine. That's up to you. But I do talk about other stuff as well. So that's what it is. So where should we even start? I am going to show you some project updates, but that'll be later. I have some other things to get into first. First and foremost, is this mug not amazing? I love this mug. So I don't know if y'all are familiar with or follow Emily D. Baker, who is a legal commentator here on YouTube. She is fabulous. She is a former district attorney, former prosecutor, and she is now on YouTube discussing pop culture legal cases, talking about the legal ins and outs of things that are going on in news and the media. She occasionally picks up She occasionally picks up cases that are not specifically pop culture, things like the Murdaugh murders and some other things, but a lot of times she is covering legal commentary on cases that have to do with celebrities. Case in point, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard when that trial was going on. And that's incidentally where I found out about her. Anyway, I love her. I was never into true crime. I was never into legal stuff until the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case came up. I found Emily D. Baker at the recommendation of a few friends, and now I am absolutely hooked, and I am into all of the legal cases, all of the everything that is going on, live trial coverage, all the everything. And this particular mug came about from a fantabulous judge, the fantabulous judge, who was on the original trial for Alec Murdaugh. So yeah, bring the Jerry. Anyway, I love this mug. It's fantastic. It's a really good size, and the colors are awesome. So anyway, so that's what's making me happy right now. Let's see, updates for me before we get into shop updates. So bird boxes have flown the coop, y'all, and I haven't checked the tracking today, but as of Saturday, I think probably 99% of the domestic boxes had reached their destinations and folks had started opening them. Y'all, I cannot thank you enough for the all of the messages I've received saying how much you loved the box, how awesome you thought it was. I really, really appreciate that feedback. I put a lot of work and effort and time into these, as you may know. And so to get that sort of immediate feedback is worth more than I can even say. And it's not that, you know, I don't expect everybody to 100% love absolutely everything in the box, but getting so many unsolicited messages telling me how much y'all love what I have put together and that you can see the effort and the time and the care that I've taken, that means a lot to me. That's what's most special to me, is that y'all can see how much I put into it, because I don't always know that that comes across, but when it does and y'all let me know, that is gold right there, getting that kind of feedback. So thank you all. If you don't love the bird box, that's totally fine as well. In fact, if you didn't love the bird box and you have notes or thoughts, feel free to email me. My email is in the description here. Feel free to email me. I mean, try to be polite. But I'm happy to hear feedback. You know, I don't know absolutely everything. I do my best to think about experiences I've had with previous boxes that I have purchased, think about things that I would want, that people that I am familiar with would want. But, you know, obviously I don't know everyone. I haven't had every experience. So if there's something that isn't working for you or that you didn't care for, I'm happy to hear that feedback. I can use that for future boxes. So yeah, email me, but I just ask that you be polite. It's fine if you didn't like it. Just, you know, I have feelings. Remember that. I'm not a computer on the other side of your computer that's just responding randomly. I'm a human being and I have feelings. So just remember that. Anyway. So, bird boxes in the US are pretty much all delivered. I think mostly all delivered. So it's just Canada and other international locations. We're hopefully gonna get there in the next few days. I know that international mail can take a minute, so fingers crossed that all of those boxes will get to their destinations without any issues. Once all of the boxes have been delivered and I can verify that they have all been delivered, then I will open up some listings on the website for extras. At this moment, it appears that I will have a very few full bird boxes available for sale after I've ensured that everybody who already ordered one has received it in good condition. So I have extra fabric. I have extra of most of the things that go in the box. But as far as like full range of all the things that went in the box, the deluxe version, or the fully fledged version, I'm only going to have just a very few, and then I may have some extras. So keep an eye out for that. I'm hoping to be able to set that up before the end of February, hopefully middle-ish February. It'll depend on how long it takes for the international boxes to get where they're going. But like I said, once I've verified all of that, and I know that I don't need to resend anything, then I will put those up for sale. So if you missed out on the pre-orders, keep an eye out on here on YouTube, on Instagram, and in your email if you're signed up for the newsletter on the website. Keep an eye out on those spaces, and I will announce when I have extras up for sale. So other shop updates. So as a lot of you know, I dyed a very special fabric for D of D's 20 Stitches for their 2024 Stitch for Pride Stitch Along. This fabric is called Determination. Give me just one second. My nose likes to run at the most inopportune times. So anyway, I dyed this fabulous fabric called Determination for D's 2024 Stitch for Pride Stitch Along. And it is well underway. That's been another super exciting thing is getting to see all the people who purchase the fabric tagging me when they're doing their finishes or their starts on the Stitch for Pride Stitch Along. That is such a cool thing, y'all. I can't even tell you. It's very exciting when I design something and folks really want to stitch it, but when you buy something from me and you tag me and let me know that you're using it and I get to see what your ideas were on how to utilize it, it's so exciting. It's so cool. So I'm going to turn it this way so you can see. So this is Determination. This is a piece of 40 count Verdal. And I have a couple of other types and counts of fabric ready to ship as well. But the big update on Determination is that I won't be doing a re-dye session, or re-dye. I'll be doing another, what do you call it? Another dyeing session, essentially. I have a few pre-orders for fabric counts that I had run out of. So I'm going to be closing those pre-orders probably the end of this week. And let me give you a date because I'm filming this on the 29th, and I don't know if I'm posting it sometime in the middle of the week or at the end of the week when I'm closing the things. So I'll give through Sunday. So I'll be closing pre-orders for Determination as of February 4th, Sunday, February 4th. So that I can go ahead and order whatever fabric I need, so that I can do a second round of dyeing. And that will probably be the last time that I dye Determination for a while. I may open up pre-orders again middle of the year, maybe June, July, depending on how things go. Also, if Dee decides to reopen the option to join in on the Stitch Along, then I may reopen fabric pre-orders. But now is the time. If you have been thinking about getting determination and you just weren't quite sure, now is the time to put in your pre-order before February 4th, so that you can actually get a piece of determination, because once I do the second dye run, then whatever I have left over that hasn't been purchased will be listed as ready to ship, and that will be what I have available until or unless I do another round of dyeing. So I wanted to let y'all know that, so that you can, if you want a second piece, if you need more of it because you want to do all your projects on it from now on, whatever the situation might be, now is the time to get in and buy some more determination before I I stop dyeing it. So I'm not going to say I won't dye it ever again, but it's going to be a while. At the earliest, probably mid to late June, if I dye it again. So, letting you know about that. Other shop updates. It's almost February. Y'all, I can't even. This year, I can already tell this year is just going to fly by. Last year was so fast. This year is going to be even faster, I think. So, but it's almost February. There are lots of things coming up in February. I'll talk about that in a minute. But being that it's almost February, it means it's getting closer to March. And the very first weekend in March is Nashville Needlework Market, which is a retailer convention, essentially. It's a retailer event that is designed for distributors and designers and fabric dyers, wholesalers, to come and set up so that retailers like me, who own shops either online or brick and mortar or both, who can come and meet the dyers, meet the designers, meet the wholesale distributors, all that sort of stuff, place lots of orders for lots of new products, and get those out to our customers. So this is the very first time that I am attending Nashville Needlework Market. I was very, very, very blessed, very, lucky is the wrong word, but I appreciate very much that I was offered a sponsorship, essentially, so that I could attend without having to spend a lot of money out of pocket to be able to be there, because my experience with Needlework Expo, which is a virtual event, pardon, that has happened the last couple of years, is that it can be very difficult to even just break even. So adding in travel expenses and things like that makes it a little bit harder for a very small shop like me to participate in big events like this. But I have been very, very fortunate. There we go. That's the word I needed, to be offered a sponsorship. So I am able to attend this year. We'll see how it goes. And then, I'll plan accordingly for the next year and so on. But I'll be attending in person. And I'll be starting to get, as designers start sending me emails and information about new designs that they're going to have, especially if they're going to be Nashville exclusives, I'll start getting that stuff up on the website as quickly as I can. There may be some listings that pop up during the weekend as well, and I'll let you know if I feel like that's going to be able to happen. That's a little bit up in the air. I'm not necessarily set up to be able to do a lot of fast things on the fly like that, so we'll see. But as much as possible, I'm going to get stuff up there so that you can place pre-orders, so that if there's a thing that you absolutely must have, I can make sure that I get it while I'm there. I'll also be using Instagram to kind of share some of the things that pop up for me that I think are really awesome, that I think you might like. So you can definitely use Mislead Pages as your Nashville Needlework buyer this year if you would like to. One second. Once I start getting those listings up on the website, I'll try to send a weekly email. I don't want to bombard y'all with emails, but I do want to let y'all know new things that are coming out. The better thing is going to be to check out my Instagram and my Instagram stories, because that's where I'll put the bulk of the information. That's where I can see something and I can share it really quickly. So be checking that out, making your list. I'm trying to figure out how I can set up a wish list situation so that if there's something you want, but I don't have it listed, you can submit that and I can try to buy it for you and then invoice you after the fact. I'm trying to set up something like that. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm going to do my best. So, yeah, so I'm looking at my notes in case you're wondering. I had to make notes because I'm like, there's a lot of things I want to get into this Flosstube update. So So that's market. That's going to be the weekend of March 1st. I can't remember the specific dates. It's like the 1st through the 4th, I think. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I know that it's generally been considered to be a pretty large and busy show. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I had been super excited because originally Jazz, the knitting nurse here on YouTube, was supposed to go with me to be my helper. She unfortunately wasn't able to actually make that trip in the end. They had some scheduling conflicts, and they're not able to attend with me after all, which is sad. I think it was going to be super fun. So I'm a little bit disappointed we're not going to be able to have that road trip together, but Adam is going to be able to go with me, so I won't be going by myself. Which was the other big sticking point for me personally, was that I'm pretty sure it's not a thing that I can really do on my own. I'm going to need backup. So I will still have a backup person, which is good. But I am disappointed not to have that trip with Jazz. I was looking forward to that. But onward and upward, as they say. So that is the market update. I'll keep y'all as up to date as possible as I can with things that are coming out. I've already seen some pretty awesome stuff that is coming out, so I'm excited. And it's going to be interesting to actually meet some of these designers face to face. I have talked to some of them in video chat through Expo, but there's a lot of designers I have not met face to face. So that's going to be kind of fun to meet folks, and it's going to take up a lot of energy. So we'll see how many weeks of vacation I need after I get back from that. But yeah, so. Okay, I feel like I'm running a marathon. So, and also my throat is like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe because I haven't been talking much today. So anyway, so yeah, that's Bird Boxes. That's all the shop updates that I have for you right now. Chances are I won't be dyeing any new fabrics in the next couple of months, unfortunately. I have some ideas that I want to try, so I'm kind of sad, but between needing to do a re-dye or another dye run of Determination and having not only Market in March, but also Stitch North at the end of April, there's just a lot going on. So I do have some fabrics that I have already dyed that I haven't serged, that I hopefully can get cut and serged and set up on the website so that I'll have something new for y'all to buy soon as far as dyed fabric goes, but I don't think I'll be able to do any new dye runs for a while. Plus, there's, oh, that's the other thing I almost forgot. So the Craft Experimentalist will be putting out a new stitch along, and it's the, oh, I should have written this down. It's a flower field guide. I've forgotten what they have actually named it, what the official name is. Pardon. But it's going to be this really awesome field guide to LGBTQ plus, LGBTQIA2S plus flowers, their meaning in the community, and all of this sort of stuff. And I have I dyed a special colorway, or I developed a special colorway to go with the stitch along. The stitch along, I believe, goes on sale February 1st, so I will try to get the fabric listing on sale for pre-orders on February 1st as well. I think the frame comes out in April. I'll get these dates for y'all. I believe the frame comes out in April, so my goal would be to take pre-orders in February and take pre-orders through February, hopefully get to dyeing the first or second week in March, and then get those out the door, hopefully in time for you to have them by April 1st. That would be the goal. We'll see if that happens. But that's going to be fun. I just need to check with them. I don't think this one is meant to be like a super secret anything. So I'll try to have pictures of the colorway, which I think is going to be called Grass Stain. I think that's what the color name is going to be. So I'll try to get pictures of that up for you as well. So that is really the last shop update. I'm sorry if I'm talking a mile a minute. I'm trying to get a lot in. Okay. So, other updates before we get to project progress. Also in February, so this is another reason that February and March are very busy months. Um, so generally speaking, being which includes myself in more recent years, but the originators of the event in the we are Alicia Resistich, Michelle of Bendy Stitchy Designs, Aaron to Martini Stitcher, Rachel of Rachel Ray Craft, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. If I'm missing somebody, I apologize. But the original folks who kind of started this whole process of marathon for MMIWG2S, that was the initial group. I sort of joined in like later in the first year or the second year, helping with hosting Zooms and things like that, which was very fun for me. And so now I feel like I'm part of the crew. I'm part of the group that sort of runs this and kicks it off. And usually we do it in October, but we kind of all agreed that October was too busy this past year. And as things turned out over the course of the end of the year, I think it's better that I personally wasn't participating in it. I had a lot of stuff going on, but we decided that maybe it would be good to do marathon for MMIWG2S in February and March when things are colder for most people. Obviously, Australia's a little bit. Australia, y'all are not cold. So folks on the other side of the equator, the other side of the world, y'all may not be experiencing the cold inside weather, but most of us, all of those in the Northern Hemisphere, that's what we're feeling right now. So we thought maybe moving it to February and March when a lot of folks are inside and the weather is cold and nasty and whatever, we thought that might be better than trying to do it in October and November or September and October when the weather is still warmer and folks are getting ready for the holidays and doing all of that kind of stuff. So instead of doing it in October, we're starting it in February. And I believe Alicia will have made an announcement by the time you see this video. I'm not exactly sure. Resist Stitch on Instagram. But if she hasn't, then I'll fill you in with the details after the fact. But she should have made, will be making, or has already made an announcement officially. She's sort of like the lead person in charge as far as like administrative stuff and just, getting the things out there. So she will be making an announcement, but the whole idea is that we, all of us who are participating, we create some kind of marathon challenge for ourselves. A lot of folks will pick a single project and pledge to do 100 hours on that project. In years past, I have not done that because it felt like too much. It felt like I'd burn myself out. This year, I think that's actually what I'm going to do. I might do it stitches versus hours, because my brain likes the stitch numbers better than dealing with hours. But I'm still going to do the 100 hours ish situation. So yeah, I'm going to do 100 hours or the equivalent number of stitches. Most folks have generally done that. They pick a project to do a marathon on. But even when folks don't do a marathon, they pick some kind of challenging thing with their crafts. In previous years, what I've done, one year I wrapped it into Season of Smalls, and so my goal was to start and finish 10 different smalls during that time period. I forget what I did another year. That was the main one that I remember. I apologize. I keep having to pause because I think something that is sitting here that I have brought over to share with you is triggering my allergies because my throat is getting all not swollen or anything, like don't worry about that, but it's getting congested sounding and it's affecting my ability to speak clearly. So I keep having to pause and try to clear my throat, but anyway. So we all pick some kind of project challenge, and the idea is that we pledge to do X amount during that 2-month period, and then we ask everybody who's in the community, who's watching, who's supporting us, we ask them to donate money based on what we're pledging to do. And we'll pick a charity that's related to MMIWG2S. And if you're not familiar, MMIWG2S is Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit. Yeah, MMIW. missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. Sorry about that. But it is, it's something that I've talked about before. It's something that's very near and dear to my heart, as well as some other folks. It's an ongoing problem, in addition to a lot of the other challenges that Indigenous communities face, not the least of which is, ongoing erasure of culture and yeah, lots of, yeah. So it's one thing that that we as a group try to do to give back to Indigenous communities in a meaningful way. In past years, we have raised money to donate to the organization's name is slipping my mind. I should have looked this up too. It's the Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women. So it's Coalition CS. Okay, anyway, the Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women. My brain is not putting the acronym together for me, but that is that is who we've donated to. And the reason we've donated to that specific organization is because in addition to being an on-the-ground organization in the Indigenous community, they're working with legislation to try to resolve some of these challenges, or at least improve upon some of these challenges that Indigenous communities face. Not only missing the MMIWG2S epidemic, which is, I think is fair to say, not only that situation, those issues, but also other issues that that Indigenous communities and individuals face. So because they're working at a legislative level and a community level, they're kind of like the 1-2 punch. And we feel like that they're working really hard to improve things for Indigenous folks in the United States and in Canada. So that is the organization we have traditionally chosen. I'm not sure if we're choosing the same organization again this year, but that's where all the money goes. We use a website called 99 Pledges, and we each have our own page. You can go and donate to us individually. You can donate to one of us or all of us or none of us. We also really love it when y'all support us just by, hanging out with us in the Zooms, by checking out our posts when we post progress, by cheering us on and supporting us emotionally, and by watching our videos and by looking at our Instagrams and all the things. So we love it when you can donate, but we also love it when you support us in other ways that don't involve money as well. So there's all kinds of ways to support and be involved. We're also going to do some auctions to raise additional money for the organization that we choose. I have some things that I'll be throwing in, which are going to, for me this year, include some things that I've made that I had planned to destash, but I think this is a fantastic way to destash those things. So my hope is that you will be interested in the things that I am donating and want to have them so that you'll donate some money to the cause. So, yeah, I haven't picked all of the things yet. One of the things that I had wanted to donate, I haven't even started making yet. So that will probably be like next year's donation, not this year's donation, but that is what it is. So more information coming about that as I have it. We will begin marathoning on the 1st of February. I believe we're gonna, I don't know how many Zooms we will do, but I know we'll have at least one for each month. Weekly is probably too often, but we'll see. I may host a Zoom or two here and there, depending on what kind of coverage we have as far as hosting Zooms, because we want to make sure that you can get as involved as you want to be. So, so that is that. Now, after all of that, should we talk about some whippy progress? Whippy progress. I don't know what that is, but yeah. I can't believe it's only been 28 minutes. I feel like I have already talked for 3 hours. I must be talking super fast. I'm sorry if y'all have to slow this down. I feel like I'm talking so fast. So, as far as project progress goes, I haven't actually worked on anything this week. I think I've put maybe 6 rows into Arda, which I'll show you here in a second. It's a knitting piece that I'm working on. And that's like all the crafty stuff that I have done this week. And it's been a lot because my big focus this week was getting those bird boxes out the door. So all last weekend, first couple of days of this week, getting bird boxes put together, wrapped, shipping labels applied, getting them out the door. Adam was a huge help getting those all to the post office because we're talking 60 plus boxes out to the post office, y'all. It was an effort, let's say. And so yeah, that's where all my focus was. And then once those were out the door, I was like, okay, I need a minute to breathe. And I thought that needing a minute to breathe was going to include doing some crafty stuff to kind of um, de-stress and untangle, but it hasn't. My brain hasn't quite switched gears yet. My brain still very much wants to be, feels like I should be continuing to work on bird boxes, but they're finished. So, so I can't quite, yeah, it's been an odd week. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. So I haven't done anything this week, but I have done some stitching and a little bit of crafting since the last time I posted video, which for once was not 6 months ago. So I guess we'll start with that. Oh, and you know what? I talked about MMIWG2S and I didn't tell you what I was going to work on because I got distracted. Hold on just a second. There's a part of me that wants to go back and edit and like chop out some stuff and put this back where it was supposed to be. But you know, ain't nobody got time for that. So let's just, let's pretend like I talked about this when I was talking about MMIWG2S. So part of my purpose in bringing that up was to tell you what I'm marathoning. And I didn't do that. So I'm sorry. So my plan for this year's MMIWG2S is, in addition to donating some stuff for auction, as I said, is my plan is to put 10,000 stitches into the Demarier tapestry. So this is my version of the Demarier tapestry. I showed this, have I showed this on a Flosstube? Maybe I haven't. So I need to probably find a picture of it and put it like over here or something so you can see what it's supposed to look like. The camera does not do this justice. My video camera does not do this justice. If I put it a little bit closer, you can see better. So I started in the center because I really wanted to do the text first. And I wasn't sure how much of the outer frame I was actually going to stitch. At this point, I'm probably going to go do the whole thing. Because why not? So I am currently, looking at my Notion, I am currently 1,514 stitches into this. This piece has a total of 20,498 stitches. So when I was first spitballing what project I wanted to work on for MMIWG2S, I was like, well, I could give myself the goal of finishing Demarier tapestry. And then I did the math. And I was like, that might be too much of a stretch. Too much of a stretch. Even with 1,500 stitches in here, I still have 18,984 stitches in this beast, which for me over 2 months is asking a lot. That's asking a lot. So my goal is 10,000 stitches. 10,000 stitches between February and March, which roughly for me, since I generally stitch on average 100 stitches an hour, a lot of times more than 100 stitches an hour, but if I get distracted or if I'm working on a fabric like this, that's a 40 count linen where the color is really like in your face, it sometimes takes me a little bit longer. So maybe I get right at 100 stitches. So 10,000 stitches for me is about 100 hours of stitching. I probably will count stitches versus hours just because that's easier for me. And that actually is an indication of how much I actually got done versus if I put the timer on and then forgot to pause it when I had to take a phone call or something like that. So this is way easier for me to track, not only because I'm using Pattern Keeper for the pattern, but also because I'm using Notion. I'm using the Stitchery template for Notion. Nati, I'm trying to remember what her screen name is, and it's, I think Simply Nati. Is that your screen name? Anyway, Nati, my friend Nati, and your friend Nati, who we hopefully all know and love. She created this really robust, really fantastic template for the Notion app. Notion is sort of like a it's similar to Airtable. It's similar to like the Google range of products because you can do like spreadsheets. You can do a relational database where you can connect all the things. You can do a lot of different stuff. There's a calendar function. There's a lot of different things. But Nati created this template for cross stitching that that goes into the Notion app. And it's got places to record all of your whips, all of the charts that you've purchased and need to kit up, all of the projects that you've put together and need to start, all the things that you finished. You can track your stitches, you can track your time, you can track all of the different things. It's like so awesome. She and Michelle did a video where they did a really awesome tutorial of how to use the Stitchery template within Notion, and I can't recommend it enough. Now that I've finally gotten started on it, it is like my favorite thing ever. So Notion makes it super easy for me to track my stitches and to keep an eye on my progress and all that sort of stuff. I can even take pictures and upload them because it's a website, a web-based system, but you can also access it on your phone. You can access it on lots of different computers because you're using a website. So I can update it anywhere that I am, whether I have my computer or not, which is fantastic. I love it so much. Anyway, so I'll be tracking stitches versus hours because that's just easier for me and it helps my brain. So, so yeah, so that's what I'll be working on for Marathon for MMIWG2S. And because I don't think I've talked about this on my YouTube channel yet, or on Flosstube. This fabric, I dyed this fabric myself. This is a colorway I call Wrath, which I really loved for this project because being related to Legend of the Five Rings. Oh my gosh, where's my brain? Lord of the Rings. Somehow my brain went to L5R instead of LOTR. If you're not a gaming geek, you don't know what any of that is. Anyway, because it's Lord of the Rings related, I always think of Mordor because, you know, that's the whole point, is that Frodo was taking the ring to Mordor to throw it into the fires of Mount Doom. So that's the first thing I always think of in relation to Lord of the Rings is Mordor and the fires of Mount Doom. And I just thought this fabric was perfect. And I've picked this, this is a peacock silk. The color is called Peacock. From Mrs. Seda Silks, and I just think the combination is fantastic. I don't think you can see how wonderful it is on camera here, but if you follow me on Instagram, you can see progress updates over the course of time, and I think it comes out really better. Comes out a lot better on my camera, on my still camera, than it does on my video camera. So that is the project, and these little pushins came from Crazy Cat Lady, Jen. And I know this came from a friend also, and I'm blanking. I'm so sorry, but it's little rainbow scissors. I don't know how you can see, but it's a circle of scissors in a rainbow, and it's super cute. I love this needle minder. So yeah. Okay. So now that we're done with Marathon for MMIWG2S, let's talk about projects. So the most recent thing I worked on is Arda, which is, this is a knitting project that goes along with the Namarie tapestry. So my friends and yours, Megan of Plexicthy, who is Plexicthy on Instagram, and Amy Graham, they decided they wanted to do a Lord of the Rings stitch along. Well, at the time I was not super uber into stitching. I was having a moment with my stitching. And so I was like, I want to do a knitting project. And then ultimately I ended up doing a knitting and a stitching project. So they wanted to do a stitch along with all the other lovers of Lord of the Rings on Namarie tapestry. So I ended up starting Namarie, as you can see, and I also started this shawl, which is called the Arda shawl. Arda is the world that Lord of the Rings is set in. So this is a Lord of the Rings inspired design. And I had this set of minis. I'm just trying to get the cat hair off the bottom. I had this set of mini skeins. It was 31 different colors. And I decided that Arda would be the perfect design to use 31 mini skeins on. So this is going to be truly an epic shawl when I'm done. So you can see it's about 18 inches wide. So it's actually, it's wide enough to cover my chest. And this is going to probably end up being longer than I am tall, because I am only on color 6, I believe. So I have quite a few more colors to go into it. I think the last time you saw it, or it may have been Patreon. I may have shown this on Patreon and not actually on Flosstube. But that little stitch marker in the middle, I think, is the last time that I showed it to folks. And you can see I'm moving into these really cool yellow or oranges. So I tried to, as per usual, I tried to do like a rainbow sort of fade. It's going to turn out interesting because the colors are not straight up tonals or solids. They're these really cool variegated colors. So it's going to be prodigious, certainly. But this is where I am on Arda. I put in maybe 6 rows in the last couple of weeks. I was trying to finish both of these on March 24th, which is, I believe, the date that Frodo, either when he throws the ring into Mordor or when he arrives at Mordor. So I was trying to finish both of these. I was supposed to do like 7 rows a day to keep up on this, and I've not done that. So this will get finished maybe by next March. We'll see. We'll see. So that is Arda. The designer is Refracted Lights something on Instagram. If you look at my Instagram posts, I have tagged them. I can't remember. The other thing that I worked on since the last video that I posted is this piece from Ink Circle. So this is Ars Robotica, and this is part of the I can't remember the hashtag. The first most magnificent round robin Ink Circles something or other that was hosted by Michelle Bendy. So this is actually Michelle's piece. As you can see, it's already got 3 of the 4 corners done. So I'm working on this last corner. When I showed it last time, I had it turned wrong. I think I had it like this, but this is the correct orientation. So I am stitching this part. I have about 300 stitches in there, but you can't really tell. It's hard to tell. And I was a little concerned at first because the black thread that I'm using is a much darker black than the other 3 segments, but I think it's going to look really cool. So on camera, it's not quite as stark a contrast as it is in person, but I think it's going to be cool. So, and I just love the colors that Michelle has picked for this. So I think the only thing that is goes along with the original color palette is the outlining was all in a black DMC or something like that. So she kept the outlines black, but then she's picked this really cool variegated, I want to say it's there's a purple here that I know is a Mrs. Seda silk. I can't remember if it's almond M&Ms. That's this really cool pink variegated thread. But the color combination on this light pink fabric is just, it's so good. It's so good. So, but yeah, so I got about 330 stitches in there. That's about 1/10 of the way. Oh, that's right. 24 hours of cross stitch was happening. 24 hours of cross stitch was happening when I last posted the video. I did not do 24 hours. I did 2.5 hours of cross stitching because bird boxes. So, as per usual, things took way longer than I had anticipated. So I spent a lot more time working on bird boxes than I thought I was going to have to. So I didn't do very much stitching at all on that weekend. But maybe this weekend. This weekend I'm taking a little bit of time off from work, and I'm going to have a bit of a staycation and take a bit of a break and just try to reset my brain and start moving forward, because bird boxes are done. So it's time to feel the accomplishment for that, and take a breath, before I jump right back into planning for next year's bird boxes, because that's what my brain wants to do. But I have learned from experience that part of preventing myself from getting burnt out on things is to take a minute, take a breath, um, take some time to live in that accomplishment, in the getting the thing done, and to kind of feel that whatever comes with that, and then after taking a beat, then get to and then move on to the planning of the next thing. So that's where I am with that. So I'm going to take a couple days off. I had wanted to kind of like do a little vacation, like a weekend away or something, but that was proving stressful, and also that costs money. Um, Staying at home doesn't cost any money. Just groceries. And it just so happens that it'll be some time at home by myself. Adam has a trip planned, so it was a convenient time to take a couple of days just for me to kind of just be by myself, take some time to reset and do all the things. So that is the plan for this week, later this week, after I get through the next couple of days of work. So that is all the stitching. That is all of the stitching I have done. Um, but much more stitching will be coming. And I think much more knitting too. I think I just kind of like, I took a break on Arda because it had been, I think it's kind of boring knitting, but there's a part of me that worries that if I put this away, that I won't take it back out for ages and ages and ages. So part of me is like, if I'm going to knit, I should just knit on this. What may end up happening, one way that I might deal with that is by making this like my work project. So I work on it at lunches, at work, and then I can have a home project that I work on at home, so I can work on something that's not this once in a while. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't always do so well working on multiple knitting things. Usually with knitting, I tend to be fairly monogamous. I might not finish the project to completion. I might not knit it to completion, but I usually will work on one thing. As far as a knitting project, I'll work on one thing for a while, and then I'll put it down and pick up something else. I don't generally like, today I'm going to knit this one thing, and then tomorrow I'm going to knit something else. Usually it's like weeks of one project, and then I'll pick up another knitting project and work on that for weeks, and so on and so forth. Whereas cross-stitching, I will swap stuff out willy-nilly all over the place. When I'm feeling it, it's like, when I stop feeling it, a cross-stitch project, it's like, yep, time to pull something else out. So it's a little bit different with cross-stitching. Let's see. Okay, one last thing, and then I'll let you go. So I mentioned that I had been doing some Bargello. So this is what Bargello looks like. It's essentially it's sort of like a needlepoint situation. Generally speaking, you'll do lines like this, vertical lines, in different kinds of patterns, and the lines may be shorter or longer, but generally you're just going kind of up and down in one direction with the lines. And it uses a a tapestry wool from DMC that is very similar to maybe fingering weight or DK weight yarn, which is really kind of cool. And you use plastic canvas. I have some stuff in there. You use plastic canvas, and put things together. You can make earrings, you can make bags, you can make pillows. I have a kit for a pillow, which I'm really excited about. But this was my very first Bargello project, and it's fully finished, y'all. Like it's done. It's a thing. You can use it now. And it's really cool looking. So I made this thing. I made it all by myself. Well, with instructions and stuff. But I found that it's a really nice project to work on while watching TV, because you don't need to look at it, or I don't need to look at it as much as I need to look down at my stitching or my knitting. This I can find the place I need to pull in or put the needle down, and I can look at the television while I'm doing that. So it's actually a really great project for when you have more intense television shows that you need to watch more closely. It's also really kind of soothing, because it's repetitive without being too repetitive, because you have like elevation changes and things, the way the lines move and everything. So so this is Bargello. I've signed up for a quarterly box from Hello Bargello, which I'm really excited about. And I think that's going to be super fun. So I'm working on a tissue box that I will be keeping at work. I'm considering putting this up for auction for MMIWG2S. So if that's the kind of thing you would like to see in the donation auctions, the charity auctions, please let me know. Because as cute as this is, and as awesome as this is, and as much as I love this, I can see this just becoming a dust collector, or a thing where, or a container where things go to disappear. Because once things are inside other things, they stop existing in my brain. So as much as I love it and as cool as I think it is, I don't know that I need to keep this. This may need a new home. So if you would, or if you're interested in possibly having it come to your home, let me know, and I'll include this in the MMIWG2S auctions. So, okay. I'm out of things on my list, and I'm out of things that I haven't talked about on my desk, so I must be done. And I need to be done because, oh my gosh, my sinuses, and I don't know what it is. I have sat very close to all of these things at various points, but somehow having them on the desk right here has just made me like all congested and stuff. So anyway, hopefully next time I won't struggle so much. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. Let's see, important dates next week. Or not next week, at the end of this week, in like 3 days, it is February 1st. So things are happening February 1st. Oh, that was the last thing. So on the topic of bird boxes and February 1st, February begins February 1st. Suddenly forgot the name of the month. February officially begins February 1st. Hopefully most everybody outside of the US who is waiting on boxes will get their boxes by or very close to February 1st. I've asked folks that have already opened their boxes not to share the contents until after February 1st. I'll also do my own unboxing. Hopefully I will get that filmed so that I can have it up either later this week or early next week. I might wait another week or something to do my video, just to give the folks outside the US a little bit more time to get their boxes before I post the unboxing. But Bird Box unboxing will be coming soon. Other folks may do their own unboxings as well, which is super exciting. But I'll do my unboxing. I'll hopefully film it this week and then post it sometime in the next 2 weeks. So that'll be coming soon. Marathon for MMIWG2S, it starts February 1st. What else? Market is March 1st. Stitch North is second weekend of Stitch North in April is like the 28th. So these are big things that are coming up. The 28th of April. Yeah, so that's lots of things happening. Oh, also pre-orders for the Craft Experimentalists field guide, flower field guide. I still can't remember the name. Pre-orders for their design for the Stitch Along go up February 1st. My pre-orders for fabric should also go up around then. So those are all the things. I think that's everything. I hope y'all are having the best everything that's available to you. The world is difficult. The world is painful. Things are hard, and I recognize that. There's a lot of really awful things happening in the world right now. And we have to do our best to take action to correct those things, to make things better. But we also have to take care of ourselves. So make sure that you're drinking all the water, staying all the hydrated. Make sure that you're taking all the meds that you need to take. And remember that you are enough. And I'll see you again soon.